but I just gotta know one thing. Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready?
Hello there. How about this login screen? The best part is obviously the G41 over here. Very cute. Alright, I'm gonna have to cancel this. I still do not have a gold armor plate. Working on it. If I don't get a gold armor plate and I want to do 0-2 corpse striking, I could make a shotgun alternatively. M16 is the preferred tank for 0-2, but shotguns also work. They just need repairs more often. I suppose I should actually explain the TDOL classes, because that'll also be relevant for night battles. So, ARs and SMGs are the bread and butter ones for early game, where assault rifles are a DPS class and submachine guns are a tank class. Now, those two classes can both also equip night battle equipment, which will matter in night battles. So that means that their accuracy will be relatively unaffected by the night battle accuracy penalty. By default, your accuracy is reduced by 90% in night battles, I believe. So night battle equipment will reduce that. So I think shotguns, SMGs, handguns, and assault rifles can all equip night battle equipment. But in practice, assault rifles are the only ones that really make good use of it because they're the DPS class out of those ones. All the other, so assault rifles, machine guns, and rifles are the DPS classes. Shotguns and submachine guns are the tank classes, and handguns are primarily buffers. They have, relatively low tankiness and damage output compared to the dedicated tank and damage dealers, although they can do some of that. But mostly handguns are for buffing other TDLs. So, rifles and machine guns can both equip AP ammo, but they cannot equip night battle equipment. So at night, if you're fighting evasive enemies that can actually dodge your shots, you generally want to use assault rifles. And if you're fighting armored enemies, then you want to use machine guns and rifles for their AP ammo. So we haven't really run into enemy armor yet, and that's because we haven't done any night battles. But now that we're doing night battles, we care about both AP ammo and night battle equipment. And I'm gonna make some hybrid teams to deal with that. Another thing in night battles is your vision range is limited, and a handgun increases your vision range for being on the team. So night teams, you generally want to have a handgun, even if it's early game. Whereas you wouldn't normally want to have a handgun for early game. Okay. So I also started racing CMS. She is a top tier SMG tank that I got. Show equipment in use also. Okay, well I just have the same one that's on MP5, so let's use that. Oh yeah, CMS can also equip AP ammo, which is really weird and usually not relevant because CMS is usually used as a tank. but CMS is also kind of intended to be an off tank that can do some damage. Generally, in your formation, which will look something like this, you have your main tank in this slot, and then your off tank in this slot will often have an offensive skill, if for ARSMG teams. But yeah, I'm gonna drop M16 from here for now. I might keep CMS as the main tank. Maybe. This is gonna be a weird team. Let's put SOP2 in here instead. So now I have 3 DPS in the back row. I'm gonna put CMS here. Okay, let's do this. So in this case, my main tank is actually in this slot, but if I need to, I can bring her forwards to kite, or like swap these two in battle. The reason why I want to do this layout is because the off tank will only buff 2 DPS units, but CMS only buffs ARs anyways, so she wouldn't buff M14 in any case. So this formation is better for buffs, even though Mark 23 can't actually tank very well. She doesn't even have the ability to equip a... whatchamacallit? Exo yet. So definitely not very tanky. I only have 2 APM. Oh. What am I? Okay, there we go. Something weird happened there. Ooh. I have a green crit scope. Excellent. So, I only have 2 white APMOs, but I think that's enough for now. I'm also, I think, only going to put a handgun on 1 squad. And hopefully I won't need vision from the other squad. On the other squad, I'm going to put in bar with AP ammo. So basically, the idea behind these squads that I'm making now is that they will have 1 unit with AP ammo, so they can deal with armored units better than they otherwise would be able to. But other than that, they're going to be set up as night battle equipment, which... Actually, I can do both night battle equipment and crit scopes on these. That is a unique feature to Star and SOP Mod 2, that they can equip 2 sights. Because of those Picatinny rails, I guess. Not that other guns don't have them, but in particular they have the ability to equip multiple sights. So that's why I can have both a crit scope and a night battle equipment on them, which makes them quite strong for night battles compared to regular assault rifles. So this will be a good team 1. Team 2, I'll have bar with some accuracy buffing, I guess. Not that that's really going to matter against armored enemies. Armored enemies, at least at this point in the game, will not have any evasion at all. There'll be 0 evasion. Later on you run into some enemies that are both armored and evasive, but I won't see them yet. So let's throw in. Okay, and I want another SMG for the off tank. This should be pretty good. Yeah, something like this for my team 2. And then of course I want night battle equipment on the assault rifles. Then I upgrade my ammo. Excellent. Yeah, I can't actually equip HV ammo on these yet because they unlock their ammo slot at level 80. They don't get an exo slot, whereas most assault rifles unlock their exo slot at level 80, and you just put like a non-tank exo on them. So exos come in two types. I have both of the white types here that I can show you. So there is the tank type, which reduces damage but gives a lot more evasion. And then there's the like non-tank type that gives much less evasion but has no downside. So you usually put the latter type on DPS units and off tanks, and then you put the tank ones on dedicated tanks because you don't care about their damage. Yeah, and it's gonna complain because there's no handguns, and that will be a concern at night battles, but shouldn't really be an issue. Oh yeah, I have some data energy. I should use that. I do have some extra energy also that I could use, but I want to save it until I actually have like a good data team. Currently mine is like partially raised, of course. So, Night 1-1, that's where I want to be. So I want to get far enough through the night battles to unlock equipment enhancement and calibration. That's the main goal. Although, might as well go as far as I can. So yeah, you can see at the intro, the map is dark because night battles. So I can't see any enemies on the map. The first squad I will deploy has a handgun in it, so then I will be able to see one tile adjacent to my echelon. So I can see over here. I don't think they even put any armored enemies on the first stage. But you do need night battle equipment to be able to effectively hit the enemies on this stage. And then this team, because it does not have a handgun, does not have any vision range. But I can swap it with the other squad to be able to see what is next to it, if the two squads are next to each other. Also, if I capture that radar, then I'll be able to see more. There are armored units, actually. Excellent. So, these armored units I should be able to take out with my AP units. Yeah, you can see that Bar is doing way more damage than anyone else because she has AP ammo. The way that armor works in this game is it reduces incoming damage by a flat amount based on how much armor they have, up to, like, down to 1 damage per hit. So you can see there's a bunch of hits of 1 damage per happening from the other units. And then Bar's units will actually hit for more. And this time, AR-15 got MVP despite fighting against armor units because she had enough firepower to overcome the armor and still do decent damage. So if your damage per shot is high enough, then you can kind of ignore armor. That's also why, even without AP ammo, rifles tend to be better against armor, because they fire, like, fewer shots but higher damage per shot. Yeah, in this case, my main assault rifles are raised enough that they can tear through this armor and do decent damage, because the flat firepower reduction is less than their total firepower amount. So they're doing more than 1 damage. Mark 23 is probably also helping with that, because she buffs firepower. Especially in night battles. Well, her skill is especially effective in night battles. You also get equipment drops from night battles. Alright, I'm gonna skip this. Yeah, it doesn't actually tell you how many enemies are left in night battles either, so you have to kind of just, like, feel your way around to find all the enemies. Although you can, like, look up how many enemies are on each map, or if you've played the map before, you could just remember. Yeah, so, like, in this battle, M14 did way less damage because she doesn't have night battle equipment, so her accuracy is really bad in this situation. So evasive enemies are really bad for M14 in this case. Alright, I'm just gonna blindly charge towards the radar. And then when I take the radar, I'll have more vision. So, in night battles, squads that don't have handguns are sometimes called blind squads. And in a lot of cases, they can be, like, stronger for combat than squads that have handguns, depending on the composition. But they will be, like, limited in their tactical options based on not being able to see. You didn't miss too much. I was mostly explaining the different T-Doll types, and I'm now on the second night mission. Yeah, I also built the teams that I'm using. They are, like, AR-SMG teams with, like, 1 AP ammo unit in each. So Bar is the AP unit in this echelon. I want to retreat to kite these guys. Those guys, if they charge up, they'll do a bunch of damage, but they have a fairly long charge up time on their attacks, so you can kite them. I have 1 turns left. I hope there aren't any enemies, like, in the fog, because I would not be able to reach any beyond... There are. How am I supposed to kill them? Unless I rely on them to attack into me. Well, wait. No, I think it would say turns left 0 if it was my last turn. Yeah, I got CMS. I started raising her as well, because she is a very good SMG. I did not get UMP 45 yet. Yeah, I think it says turns left 0 when it's your last turn, so I should have one more turn after this. Otherwise, I'm screwed. Yeah, those also will have a relatively long charge up time on their first attack, although not as extreme as the armored ones. So you can also dodge those by retreating your units or kiting them back. So if I kite these forwards and then back again, that'll cause them to walk instead of firing. That is a trick that you can use to avoid damage against those guys. I also haven't mentioned like the names of the enemies at all, but there are actually names for each of the enemy units. Oh, this opened in my other browser. Yeah, so these are the names of all the Sangvis units. So Jaegers are the ones with the like rifles that have a long charge up time before they attack, and then Neemium are the armored ones, which behave similarly. Although Neemium have a longer charge up time than Jaegers, I think. Yep, I have not lost yet, which is good. So this is probably an Aegis Neemium squad, and then the other ones are like Guard Jaeger squads. Yep, M14 got MVP that time. Which makes sense, because they are armored units. I would generally expect the AP units to get MVP when we're fighting armored enemies. P7. Is P7 gonna appear here? Nope. Not yet. She probably appeared somewhere in this story. P7 is very cute. Okay. Yeah, I've also been doing a lot of XP farming recently, so starting like yesterday, there is an XP rate up event where you get like 1.5 times XP. So I've been doing a bunch of XP farming. Yeah, so I got to 4x on my main assault rifles. So AR-15, SOP-2, and M16 are all 4x. So I think they're basically ready to start 0-2 corpse dragging if I had the gold armor plate. But I don't have it. Obviously there's no enemy there because it's white. Alright, let's... Okay, no enemy there. In the interest of getting more intel, and because this squad is stronger, I will attack in with this one. There is also no enemy back there. So yeah, I only really have one raised handgun, so that's why I'm using one blind squad. I could have also raised PPK or something, but I didn't. Oh, there's an enemy coming from my heliport over there. You can tell by the way it is. Yes, let's do this. There might be an enemy next to my heliport on the north, and I wouldn't be able to tell because this squad is blind. Or would I? Is it within range of the radar? Radars give you 2 nodes vision range when you capture them. So, no, that would not be in range of the radar. So I don't know if there's a squad over there. I know that there wasn't one last turn. Took a little bit of damage there. Probably could have avoided that with kiting. Yeah, generally night battles... Oh, there is a squad there. Well, lost my helipad there. But, like, generally night battles are more balanced between the T-Doll classes than day battles. Because in day battles, there is little to distinguish between ARs, rifles, and SMGs compared to in night battles. Because... like, in night battles, there are armored enemies and evasive enemies that make, like, the distinction between assault rifles that can equip night battle equipment and the other T-Doll types that can equip AP ammo more relevant. So, generally, like, ranking maps will all be night battles, except for the very first one, which... have they rerun the first ranking map? I think that there was like a rerun of it at some point on the old servers. I don't have any shotguns yet. But yeah, if I can't get an armor plate, then I would make a shotgun instead. That's like, if I'm not rolling any armor plates, then a shotgun would be an alternative. Yeah, well, there was an Arctic Warfare rerun on the Elder servers, from what I heard. Wait, I ran out of turns? Is that what happened? Hmm. But yeah, basically it was only the first ranking map and any reruns of it, which were day battles. All the other ones are night battles. Yeah, let's just quick repair everybody. Yeah. It would be nice if they did a Arctic Warfare rerun at some point. But yeah, generally, like, the most balanced content tends to be night battles, because in day battles, like, it tends to be, like, dominated by certain squad types. For instance, the first ranking was Arctic Warfare, and because it was a day battle, and the enemy squads were all relatively weak, it was dominated by MGSD teams, because the machine guns could kill the enemies in one volley most of the time. So you wanted to have like as many machine gun teams as possible for Arctic Warfare. Whereas in night battles, it tends to be a bit more nuanced and split between different squad types. Alright, I'll just try to like chase kills mostly. Well, okay. I know that there's an enemy that's gonna come from the south, probably. So maybe this time I won't move my second squad up at all. And I'll just go like this and not worry about capping that radar yet. I started during Operation Cube originally. So I've been here for all of the events, and I did clear Operation Cube before it finished. So I think I started like near the beginning of it. But there wasn't a ranking map for Operation Cube. Yeah, I did participate in the original Arctic Warfare ranking. I don't think I ranked in the top 100 on that one. It was very RNG heavy, because there were a lot of people that could, like, clear the content without repairing at all. So if there's a lot of people that can get all the kills, then it just comes down to like spawn luck, basically. Like, how good are the enemies that spawned? Because also, like, the only way to get points during Arctic Warfare was killing enemies. Whereas a lot of the later rankings have different point mechanisms. I don't remember, like, if I always got top 10% in particular, but I always, like, reached my percentage target in the rankings, I think. And some of the more recent ones, I haven't really tried that hard on them, so I just, like, got whatever I wanted. So I don't remember exactly what percentage I got. But I generally rank pretty high on my main account, because I have a lot of time invested into it. Alright, there's an enemy there. I wonder how many enemies total there are. Well, there's 2 there. Hopefully that's all the enemies. That would be nice. I'm pretty sure that I got a high-ish percentage in Arctic Warfare as well. Because I did have a bunch of machine gun teams raised for it. But I didn't, like, redo it for RNG as many times as I could have. Oh, okay. Yep, those were the only enemies left. Excellent. Alright, let's do some repairs. Hello there. Oh, right. I don't have any special orders remaining, so it is this voodoo recipe that I want to do. Nope, still no gold armor plates. I got another M14. Yeah, I did use cores to link my M14 currently. Oh, they gave me 2 white crit scopes. How generous. Actually, that blue AP ammo is kind of useful, potentially. I don't think the enemies are actually armored enough that it matters yet, but might as well upgrade. Alright, I'll just quick repair. Another potential option if I don't get a regular gold armor plate is I could go for M16 special equipment, but I think that's quite a ways along. You need to have pretty strong knight teams to get it. Isn't that like Knight Chapter 6? It's either like 5 or 6. So it's a long way out. I'll probably get a gold armor plate before that point. Okay, well, I'll do my standard start of deploying my second squad. I guess I'll head that way because that's where the enemies are. I don't think I'm gonna really worry about the events going on with this account. And on my main account, I actually stopped doing theater. I hate theater. Theater is like the worst. Like, the concept of theater, where it's like combat sim but more advanced, I like. Except that, or, well, defense drill specifically. Like the combat sim defense drill, but more advanced. Except that it's not really like that at all. Because the, like, rankings in theater don't depend on your combat strength much at all. It depends on how much you play Griffinmon, and how many slugs you have raised, and how good you are at gambling. I just don't like it at all. If the theater was actually like a ranking of combat strength, then I would like it better. But that's not what it is. Yeah. Like, because, like, basically anybody who's near the top of the rankings is going to be able to, like, beat the combat part of theater easily. Which is, like, the exact same problem that Defense Drill has, is that it's too easy. If you can clear all of the waves, then what's the point? It should just be, like, endless waves. And then it's a test of endurance, and, like, how strong is your squad? How many waves can you beat? Okay, good. They didn't get their shots off. So then they have this, like, betting system that ends up being a lot of the difference between people in theater rankings, and they have... nope, wait, nope, bad. Should I, like, redeploy that squad, or should I just, like, restart? I'm gonna just, like, restart the battle. Yeah, but, like, the whole point of this account is to, like, show new players how to beat the main content of the game. So I'm not really gonna worry about current events going on, because that's more intended for, like, more advanced players as opposed to newer players. Well, let's do that again, except not mess up the micro so much. I do not currently have a hotkey for pausing, looks like. I think I did it at one point. Ah, my space hotkey is down here. I think I had my space hotkey on the pause button at some point. But I moved it for, like, casting skills, I guess? I don't know why it's down there. It might be worthwhile to have a pause hotkey. What I really ought to do in these fights is like do a multi-stage kiting system like that. Let's do that. Get him. Yeah, it takes bar 2 clips to kill those enemies, which makes it take a concerningly long time. Got a manticore over here. Manticores are kind of like armored dragoons, except bigger. What is he even shooting at? Star? Maybe I should have kept one of my tanks on the field. Oh well. Well, probably my actual tank as opposed to the handgun. Okay. Yeah, with these guys, they start glowing when they're charging up their attack. Wait, did it take, like, more than 2 clips to kill these guys? Also, it's shooting at bar, which is not helpful. Alright, I'm going to try scumming this fight. I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to beat it. Or though maybe I'm running into the limits of my AP capacity. Already? Well, the strength of my units that have armor piercing specifically. Alright, that time we got it. Maybe I should have put M16 in here. I bet M16 does more damage than Oats does, actually. There's still enemies somewhere. There's one. There's more than one. So this squad is blind, and this squad is running out of ammo. So maybe I should bring up the other squad. And hopefully there aren't any enemies along the side. I'm gonna be able to take him out. Not quite. Okay, maybe I need to reset again. Seems like I ought to have invested more in my, well, in Bar, I guess, or whoever my AP units are. I can also face tank these guys instead of trying to do that kiting thing. But they do a lot of damage. And they also have very high accuracy. Maybe the bar was too high. Ah! Okay, Echelon 1 is now out of ammo. So now I have one squad that is out of ammo. Another squad that is blind. I hope this is the only enemy left. If not, big oof. That was an interesting Molotov throw. She like threw it behind her. Ouch. Come on, Bar. Reload already. Maybe I should raise the bar. Oh, that is the last enemy. Excellent. It's a lot of repairs. And that was only 1-4. So things are going to get more difficult. Okay. I know that Knight 2-3 has a decent number of armored enemies, but it's also pretty easy overall. I used to run Knight 2-3 a lot on my main account. Alright, let's make some more combat reports. I could also, you know, throw some combat reports into Bar. How many reports does it take to go to 70? Not very many compared to how many I have in total. Nice. Got a bunch of tokens from that. Then also cost some cores, which are in fairly short supply. The dummy linker, but I think that's worthwhile. It'll make her a lot better. Oh yeah, because I reset, I have to enter the recipe again. Luckily I haven't memorized by now. So yes, this is the recipe. Still no gold APMO. So if I still have issues getting gold APMO, I can do a shotgun recipe, but it's more resources than I even have. So, and it's not guaranteed to give me a shotgun, so that's kind of a desperation move. I think they do give you shotguns at some point. Yeah. So I have to get a shotgun at some point. I can check in the quest to see what gives you shotguns. Yeah, I don't see them showing up anywhere in here. So they give you the IDW shotgun? And SPAS 12? Oh, okay, so when you clear 5-2, you get SPAS 12. And then, so that's probably in here. Wait, normal. I have unlocked chapter 5. Is it gonna show up? Or is it like after the emergency ones? Oh, okay. 5.2 doesn't show up. Only 5.1 shows up. Because I haven't unlocked 5.2 yet. M500 has a mod. And then, okay, yeah, I didn't look up what you get M500 from either. 4.3E. Wait. I've cleared 4.3E. Right? Haven't I been XP farming on 4.3E? So, yeah. I cleared 4.3E. So, why don't I have that M500? Oh, so do I have to go do 4th? But I've done 4.3E again since then. I don't have the M500. Is there a way to like filter this? Career quest. This is for clearing emergency 4.2, which I already have, but I guess because I did them out of order. Yeah, I did all the emergency up missions last time. One of the quests is telling me to do 4-2, so let's try doing that, I guess. Oh, my SOP 2 is not repaired, but she's barely injured at all. Put second squad in here, first squad in here. I can just do this. Yeah, maybe I somehow glitched it out by doing the emergency missions out of order. I don't think that that should be the case. Ow. SOP 2 got slightly hit there. Now emergency 4-1 shows up. So does emergency 4-3. Okay. That's odd. So I need to do 4-1 as well to get that other quest, I guess. Yeah, this squad is definitely not optimized for day battles, but I think it's good enough to beat these missions. Also, if I'm doing it ideally, I should have CMS do the tanking. So something like this. Mark 23 is not ideal for tanking. Like that. Theoretically, when CMS is in the front center, she should pull all the aggro. I farmed this map like 100 times and didn't get the achievement for it because I hadn't done 4-2, I guess. Well, I did do 4-2, but I didn't do like emergency 1-3, so weird things happen. So now I have a shotgun. So M500. Yeah, M500 starts off with 14 armor, which is more than enough to deal with these 0-2 enemies. Because 11 armor is basically the amount that you're looking for to tank 0-2 well. But her evasion is going to be much lower than M16's, which is why M16 is better. But that's assuming that you have a gold armor plate. So I could potentially do 0-2 corpse dragging now. I'll probably show that off before the end of the episode at least, and do that to do some more grinding. I will still attempt to get through the night battles though. Good evening, boss. Isn't Thompson the boss? Thompson seems like the mob boss. Why is the rat floating? I like how Thompson is just like a mobster. The Chicago typewriter. Yeah, at this point my second squad is kind of just for action points on this map. Although, my main squad might run out of ammo, so maybe I ought to do something like this. Oh yeah, I should sub in M16 on this squad. She's probably better. Because M16 is a lot more raised than OTS 12. Anything over here? No. Okay, got my eye on you, guard. Yeah, it went up. So, yeah. So I want this squad to go here. Wait, let me grab ammo just in case. And this squad goes here. This squad goes here. Oh, I can't put night battle equipment on M16? I guess not, because she doesn't have a sight slot. I didn't think of that. Get him. Alright, cool. This reminder is cut off. I've never really read those before. 1911? Nice. 1911 is the other T-doll that calls you darling, besides Mark 23. So another rival, I guess. I guess that's a, like, American thing, at least according to Mika. Because both of those are, like, American themed, although Mark 23 is actually made by a German company. She was made for the US military. Let's just do this, I guess. Yeah, I think that stereotypically, like, in the American South, they use the term darling more often. Rep Mark 23's link. I actually made an emoji out of that link. Or that death animation. Wait, let me resupply while I'm here. Rip. Yep, that's an emoji on my Discord server. Alright, and I think Bar should be much better equipped to deal with these guys now. She does a lot of damage. There is also an enemy there. So let's just kill off the enemies that I know the location of for now. The timing of MP5's skill is not very good in this situation. She probably ought to be on manual skill, but I don't like microing skills. Force shields is definitely a type of skill that you generally want to micro to get the most out of them. Especially in cases like this where you're up against enemies that attack at certain times. But force shields are also not that good for general use, generally. Alright, Enneagram is in this squad too. Alright, cool. Alright, I'm very experienced with doing 2-3N. That was like my go-to place for the weekly armor killing quests when I would do those. I did a decent amount of the just like equipment farming on there as well, back when equipment farming meant something. Let's do a bunch of quick repairs. Alright, I'm gonna let the, like, 10-second repair run. What is this weeb nonsense? This is a game about, womanified objects. As in, guns that are made into androids, kind of. So, like, all the characters are named after the gun that they use. And they're all androids. This is definitely a rather weeb game. Yes, I am a freak for androids. Come on, just move. Let's do... Actually, no, let's do this. And then CMS can face tank if need be. Let's do that again. 123 just for delaying. Took a pretty big chunk of damage there. Those guys hit pretty hard. CMS is also not all that raised. Oof. Yeah, maybe I should have been face taking with CMS some more. My M14 is also not all that raised. My bar is more raised now in terms of AP units. And I think the armor is ramped up so that the assault rifles don't do as well against it compared to the earlier armored enemies. Hey, I'm only letting the dummy links die. None of the actual T-dolls have died. Yeah, in terms of the route I'm following, this is basically the route that I always use for farming this, because I've done this map a whole bunch of times. I could actually put AP ammo on CMS. I should probably do that. It's not like I'm using hollow point on CMS. Is M14 down to 1 link now? No, she has 2. One of them's off the screen. Here we have the doggos. Yeah, there's the other one. Yeah, Bar is easily taking out these armored squads now. Alright, there are 3 enemies left. I know this because I've run this map a bunch of times. So, but if I go here, I won't necessarily be able to tell. Okay, well, there's 2 turns left. So I can go here and here. And then the enemies will be stuck in the north area, even though I won't necessarily be able to see them. Wow, Bar has to reload twice for this one. Yeah, I'm gonna take some hits. Ow. Should have left my... Okay. I'm gonna reset. You can reset fights by restarting the app. Which is like kind of an exploit, I guess, but they've known that it's been in the game forever and they haven't done anything about it, so that is a common technique, especially for like ranking stuff. People will, like, you basically have to use that to your advantage if you want to rank well. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Except they don't have like an official way to reset fights, it's just like... Oh, well... Okay, good enough. I did lose. Oh, it's still alive. Kill it. Okay. I lost some links on Oats, but fine. There's only one fight left. And it is right there. It's hiding in the corner. Okay. Alright, this time I'm not gonna retreat MP5. I'm just gonna have MP5 face tank it. Actually, MP5's gonna automatically retreat. Come on, get him. Nope. I think I need to reset again. Oh, did that? No. Okay. I have to, like, get out of full screen. Hey, I'm pushing pretty far into night battle missions for not having proper, like, armor-piercing squads. Like, basically, I have one AP unit on each squad, but that's not ideal for night battles. I could always just, like, have all of my tanks just base tank it instead of retreating any of them. Which is going to guarantee taking a bunch of damage, but that's better than losing the fight. My bar is also down a link already, which doesn't help. Really? They're gonna target my AP unit? Okay. Why did they stay over there? This emulator has a weird interaction with my screen for some reason. Because it might be related to the window size being the same as the screen size, but like when I exit out of full screen mode, it still shows up as in full screen until I like move it over to the other monitor and switch between full screen and windowed. Oh, more logistics. I could do that, but that sounds like fancy micro. I could also like do this to mess with the enemy's targeting. Alright, MP5 is out. I could also just have M4 do some tanking. As long as they're not shooting at Bar, that's all that really matters, because Bar's the only one that's doing damage to them. There we go. I got it. Eventually. And then there's still one more mission that I want to do after this. I might need to put at what cost? A bunch of HP. This is basically the cost using a bunch of manpower and parts on repair. Okay, so I'm gonna put AP. Oh, that's actually better than the AP ammo I have on my rifles. Or on my rifle and whatchamacallit, machine gun. And then I think I'm also going to raise M14 a bit more. They didn't actually die. They just got critically damaged. If I wanted them to actually die, then I would have to turn off heavy damage protection. I got some more good PEQs. They did get shot. Indeed. Okay, so I was going to Demilink M14 and save a few cores with that. Then on to enhance. Right, I don't have any. I don't care about raising invasion slightly. Alright, 30 seconds. Actually, I'm gonna be right back. Alright, I'm back. This should be the last night mission that I want to get through now. Because this is the one that unlocks equipment calibration. Looks like this one is more evasive enemies, at least so far. There's an armored guy. Ooh, that is a lot of damage. Now that's a lot of damage. I can always do a quick repair. I won't get gold medal, but gold medal isn't even a thing on night battles, is it? I don't think so. It's just either you clear it or you don't. So I'm gonna opt for doing the quick repair. Yep. What? I had the wrong one selected. That's not ideal. Okay, get him. I didn't actually lose the Lincoln star yet. Alright, nobody lost links of the DPS ones. Yeah, this is definitely nearing the limits of what my squads can handle. Can you use friend squads on these? I think you can. Maybe I should do that. It's me. This squad is not really optimized for fighting evasive enemies at night, but it is also overkill. So I think it'll work out just fine. Yeah, I'll just like cap these two command or heliports for now. I won't be able to use my friend support echelon for all the fights because there's a turn limit, but it might be able to help a little bit. Yeah, I lost a couple of links. Those units now. Well, one on each. I also am not allowed to deploy more than one currently. Yep, overkill. You don't need to hit anything if you're spraying that many bolts. And any bullets that hit are like one-hit killing links for sure. Alright, do the emergency repairs. Alright, there's another enemy here. Is that the last enemy? Yep, that is the last enemy. Alright, cool. That's it for the night battles for now. So I can now do equipment enhancement and equipment calibration. But I have so many green armor plates, but I don't have any gold ones yet. Do I have... The only gold equipment I have is in EOT. Gimme. Oh wait, gotta do the recipe. Still no gold timers. Alright, let's set up a 0-2 team anyways. Using M500 instead. I have to quick repair SOP 2. How damaged? Okay, well, I'll quick repair Mark 23 as well. Probably gonna want to put Mark 23 in there. Alright. There. Okay, I'm gonna disband this squad for now. Wait. Come back, MP5. I want to steal your equipment. Not that that's really necessary, but I'm generally in the habit of always taking equipment off of T-Dolls that are not on squads. So let's use PPK in here. Wait, no. This squad needs to be one of my carries. Then my other carry is going to be on this squad. And then M16. No, not M16. It's gonna be M500. Who's the tank? I did not save the formation. I don't know if I want to have M14 as one of the units getting carried. What else do I want to raise? And I do want to raise M14, so maybe. Why not N94? It's gonna be a lot of cores, so maybe not. Maybe not raise that many units who want cores yet. Keep forgetting to save the formation. Okay. Looks like a decent 0-2 corpse dragging team. So I should explain how I come up with this team. For a 0-2 corpse dragging team, you want to have your tank, your carry, and then like 3 corpses that just get dragged along to get XP. So you want to arrange your tank in the front center, your carry usually in the center back, but basically your carry and your corpses can go anywhere within like these 5 tiles, basically. You don't want to be in here because then you can get hit, and you don't want to be in the front row, obviously. And then you arrange them however gives you the best tile buffs. So this would be basically the same in this case. Yeah, I think I should be able to do it with 4x links on the carries. I think theoretically it's better without an armor plate on M500 because she already has enough armor and it will give her less evasion if I give her an armor plate. Let's give this a try, see how it goes. Okay, I have enough ammo for 4 fights right now. So I think I will take a route that only does 4 fights rather than the normal route. So I could do like this route, basically. On the enemies, all the enemies on 0-2 do not move at all. So you don't have to worry about them like capturing your command post. Yeah, 14 armor should be enough to mitigate the enemy's damage. Because 11 armor is enough for almost all the enemy shots. Yeah, see, it's only one damage per enemy hit. Now, I'm not doing... Yeah, I might not be able to get through the full number of fights before these units get upgraded a little bit. M500 is not the ideal tank for it. It would be ideal to be M16, of course. might also need to turn off heavy damage protection to be able to do this properly. Well, I could have CMS do some tanking if need be. Because they might cause M500 to retreat here. Yeah, usually you are able to get away with starting 0-2 Corpse Dragon with 4x T-Dolls, but my tank isn't even 4x right now, so that would help if I made M500 4x, and it would also help if the tank was M16. I could actually push my carry and tank dolls to 5x probably, using the reports I have. Okay, well I did manage to get through, but barely. And that was only 4 fights anyways. And I had some other T-Dolls shooting. So I probably want to do some upgrades before I'm able to reliably do this. So let's do those quick repairs. Okay, how many does it take to go to 90 from here? $70 to 90 takes a lot. Okay, I should have enough to do it for all of them though. Might not have enough cores. Yeah. Yep. I clicked on enhancement instead. Alright, dummy links. 500 first, because she's the cheapest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have enough cores. Yeah, I will not have enough cores to dummy link all of them. Also, SOP 2 doesn't rely on cores as much, because she's a grenadier. Which is why I did her last. That, so let's do capsule enhance. Who is this? G3. Watch me get like a gold armor plate timer right after I do all those enhancements on M500. But no. Got a bunch of achievements for giving gifts, using capsules. Alright. Also, this time I'll be able to test out doing it properly. So let's put star in here. Because all my other units are out of ammo and rations. So this is the normal route that I would take on 02. Let's see if we can get through it. I might have enough tokens to roll the furniture gotcha now. Oh, M500 does have ammo. So it doesn't make it a perfect test yet. What do you mean, give ammo? The reason why M500 has ammo is because she was dummy linked. Whenever you dummy link, they get full ammo and rations. I think even with Star being dummy linked and SOP 2 not being dummy linked, SOP 2 is probably still the better carry because she's a grenadier. Also, neither of them is fully skill leveled yet. Oh, SOP 2. Oh, right. Good point. But I can't do that until I'm done with combat. But that would help, I'm sure. I forgot that they got the ability to equip more stuff now. It's like level 80 that they unlock that ability. Looks like I will be able to get through it without M500 getting to the stage where she retreats, though. Even before I give ammo to my other units. So, this is a valid corpse dragging setup. Although I have to repair between every run, currently. I can do this for grinding for now. Yeah, so I should probably explain for those who are unfamiliar how corpse dragging works, but it is kind of self-explanatory when you see it in action. You, like, supply the off carry, which is why you need 2 carries for it, and then rotate them into the active squad every time you do it, and then the carry that is supplied, like, carries all the other T-dolls who aren't supplied. So you save a bunch of ammo and rations by only supplying 1 T-doll in the squad. Yeah, I don't have enough cores to link them. Part of that is because I spent some cores on CMS, and yeah. I should get a bunch of cores from 02, relatively. So yeah, let's... Don't I have one equipped on M16, or did I already unequip it? I guess I only have one green HV ammo for now. So, between each battle you have to swap your carries, which you can do in the battle start screen as well. Another advantage of M16 over shotguns is I think she's generally cheaper to repair, because shotguns are just more expensive in everything. So now SOP 2 is the one who's supplied, and all the other ones are unsupplied. Yeah, I can level the skills while I'm like sleeping, doing other stuff. Although the latest skill, like the last couple of skill levels, will be almost a day, or actually a day long. Yeah, we'll see how SOP 2's performance compares to AR-15's as well. Her grenade is not quite strong enough to one-hit those guys, but it still is AoE, whereas AR-15 doesn't have any AoE. Usually Grenadiers do better at this until you get like really leveled DPS units that can tear through the enemies quickly. Yeah, I think SOP 2 is going to end up with less damage, but that's also with ammo equipped, whereas AR-15 didn't have ammo equipped yet. There's a core drop. Yeah, you get a lot more cores from 02 than you do from previous XP farming maps. 02 is generally like a good enough core source for early game, until you start wanting to do fairy crafting. So usually if you do all your leveling on 02, you'll get enough cores to dummy link your T-dolls.
爪からそれとも配線から一つずつ抜いてあげもう壊れちゃったの大したことないんだから
Although later on there are maps that are more dedicated to core farming that give better core drop rates but aren't as good for XP.
あなたが指揮官ですね MG42 の姉 MG34 はよ指揮官手伝ってあげますにゃ
Alright, let's swap this one more time and see how it goes using AR-15 with ammo. I didn't actually need to exit out, I could have just done quick repair on the squad setup screen. But, oh well. I did it anyways. Yeah, I'm not seeing any enemies hitting for more than 1 damage. Well, at least these guys, I'm pretty sure, don't do more than 12 damage or whatever. I think there might be like a couple of enemies along this route that can do more than 1 damage to M500, but it's very few. So generally having more evasion is actually better than trying to equip an armor plate. Maybe the Dragoons do more than 1 damage. Yeah, I'm only seeing 1s. And misses, obviously. That's why, like, armor tanks are so good for this map, is because the enemies don't hit very hard. I should probably shuffle around my logistics priorities to put more weight on manpower and parts, because I'm going to have to do a lot of repairs and not spend as much ammo and rations now that I'm doing corpse dragging. And doing it such that I take a lot of damage. Oh, did the Jaegers do more than 1? I wasn't watching. The Jaegers might be doing more than 1 damage to M500, but they die pretty fast. And they're only in that 1 squad. Yeah, generally it's actually these guys who do the most damage. It was... Oh. What are those called again? Rippers. Yeah. It's actually the Rippers that do the most damage to your tank in this because they shoot the fastest. So, at 1 damage per shot, they do more damage than the Jaegers do.
たんですね。MG42 の姉 MG さん。
Alright, I think that's about it for the stream today. Except that I should probably explain how my Mark 23 has been making IDW noises the entire video. That is because I'm using the dual adjutant feature, where IDW is actually the main adjutant, and is hiding off the edge of the screen. So, it looks and sounds like IDW is doing the voice lines, even though it looks like Mark 23 is the adjutant. I'm probably not going to do that anymore, although I might do other fun combinations. But I think I had enough IDW adjutant voice. But yeah, I'll do 0-2 runs between this stream and the next one, and maybe I will actually get a gold armor plate at some point. That'd be nice. Anyways, I think that's enough for this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next stream.
好きか？ラスピターニャ。